More than 500 people have been killed during 2 weeks of mass anti-government protests across Iran, according to a U.S.-based human rights group. Security forces in the country have reportedly detained more than 10,000 people. President Trump is now saying he may meet with Iranian officials after threatening possible military action if more demonstrators are killed. Over the weekend, he said Iran wants to negotiate, but that the U.S., quote, may have to act before a possible meeting. CBS News Middle East reporter Courtney Kealy joins me now. So, Courtney, what would a meeting between U.S. and Iranian officials look like, and what would they negotiate over?
Well, that's the big question. And we know that Israel and the U.S. would be ready to launch airstrikes, for instance, at their ballistic missile program. There have been discussions before the 12-day war with President Trump's team, Steve Witkoff, and the Iranian foreign minister. The Iranian foreign minister would probably lead those talks, and he's the one that says that he would want to do it, whether we see it in a place like Paris, a place like Oman. Those were the neutral places where they were negotiating over the nuclear deal before those airstrikes in June of last year.
Iran's exiled crown prince, Reza Pahlavi, spoke with our Nora O'Donnell. I want to play you some of our interview.
Iranians are resilient despite what the regime is trying to do. However, the most obvious question is, are we alone in this fight, or will this time the world respond to this brutality and come to their help?
So what would it take to end this and have a regime change in Iran?
Huge question. It really depends on the infrastructure and how strong the regime is. Now, I'm hearing reports from experts that Khamenei, the supreme leader, is isolated. He's old. He's 86. He doesn't come out to Friday prayers very often. And we saw him last week, and he looks pretty frail. But who's left in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and the army? Because Israel took out the top leaders of both. They infiltrated the country with Mossad, and they trained up Iranian operatives. Are they still there? Could they affect change of going after Ali Larijani, who is still large and in charge? They have kind of a key team of leaders there, but we don't know how strong the Iranian Revolutionary Guard are after the 12-day war. That's the big X factor. That's what we're waiting to hear. Right now, protests have gone quiet because of the bloodshed of the last couple of days. We're looking at a lot more than 500 killed, most likely.
Courtney Kealy, thank you. CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins us now. Olivia, do we have any more details on what options President Trump is considering when it comes to Iran?
Well, Lindsay, it's good to be with you. Our James Laporta has new reporting on this, that in addition to potential military strikes that Courtney just laid out, which could include ballistic missiles going into Iran, the president was also briefed on potential covert operations. Those could include cyber operations and psychological campaigns that could be waged inside Iran in some of their infrastructure that could potentially help sway what people on the ground are feeling and how they're thinking about this regime. Now, we know that no final decision has been made, but we are told that U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff was approached by the Iranian foreign minister for a conversation, a diplomatic conversation, to perhaps halt any potential action that this administration could take. We know that President Trump has been briefed on potential matters, but has not made a decision quite yet on what to take. But he is ratcheting up the heat. We should know on Truth Social just a few minutes ago, he posted this saying that any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay a tariff of 25% on any and all business being done with the United States. He said this order is final and conclusive, and then his signature, "Thank you for your attention to this matter." Now, some of the biggest trading partners with Iran include China, Iraq, Turkey, the UAE, India, Pakistan, and Russia. Some of these countries are U.S. allies. I'm looking at India. Others, China, an adversary. But this is certainly going to turn the global attention to what's happening in Iran even more so than it is on there already, and potentially make some type of move as regards to the allies of Iran and what is going on the ground there.
And today, officials from the European Union said a U.S. takeover of the Arctic island would be the end of NATO. Where does the Trump administration stand on that?
Well, not only EU officials, but also Senate Democrats were saying something very similar over the weekend on the Sunday shows. And even President Trump responding to these allegations today on Truth Social again, said that he is actually the one who saved NATO. He posted that a short while ago, earlier today. We do know that Trump administration officials are set to meet with Danish officials later this week to talk about potentially acquiring Greenland. That meeting has not been officially announced, but this comes after Secretary Marco Rubio had briefed Congress last week, on potentially purchasing the territory of Greenland. So a lot of movement here, certainly another space to watch. Caroline Leavitt said there's no timeline for Greenland right now, whether they want to acquire or whether they'll acquire it militarily or through purchasing. But she did mention that the president wants to see the United States acquire Greenland because he feels if they do not, it will be acquired by either Russia or China. And that's something the president does not want to see happen. They say they are going to acquire it one way or another. Lindsay?
Olivia, Rinaldi, thank you.